Hello and welcome to my channel called Budding Stars. Budding Stars is a baby or a children's channel which is dedicated to sewing and designing and sewing for children. So what I propose to do is, I'm sure many of you are familiar with my voice and my teachings. I have been teaching on YouTube for the last over 4 years, and I am well known for teaching Eastern styles. Mostly I started off with teaching how to make shalwar kameez, and now there is a continuous demand of learning to sew for Western audiences as well, and I think the best place to start, something that we all have in common, is children. And children's area is one area that's not restricted to any particular sort of cultural design, if you know what I mean. For most of our Asian children, we start them off wearing mostly Western clothing. Probably places like Mothercare, Adams, Next, you know, these are just some of the brand names that mostly my children have grown wearing. I think Adams has stopped now, or they're very rare places that Adams exists. Mothercare, they used to be all over the place. They're actually not as popular as well nowadays. Because of internet shopping, a lot of people tend to buy a lot of the clothing online. Now, one of the things that we have with children's clothing, we often go and buy really spend a fortune on children's clothing, where you get a very minimal sort of wear. And I always say that children are one group that actually don't criticize what you put on them. It's our own parental sort of intuition onto what we what can I say, what word can I use? It's our own desire to dress our children in what we like. So I get a lot of pleasure from sewing for my little granddaughter Innaya. I'm sure many of you are probably quite familiar with Innaya. Now today I'm going to do, this is a maxi skirt, and it's a peach color maxi skirt which we often buy but we never wear. I mean, I had them in the shop. I bought them like a bulk load, and they were quite a lot, and really nobody has ever worn this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, it's a beautiful peach color, so I'm going to transform this into a dress for Innaya. So what we're going to do is, because it's quite lengthy, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the bottom, you know, the bottom part of the skirt, and I'm going to probably make another dress perhaps out of that. But for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to take the belt off, and then I'm going to attach like a bodice to it and make it into like a dress. So if you find any these skirts, or if you've bought one which you have no longer any use for, then I wouldn't say discard it, because there's lots of benefits to sewing something like this. The main thing is that if you are inexperienced in sewing, then this is a platform to start sewing, because it will give you a lot of experience. It's cotton, it's easy enough to sew. And you will get a few wears out of it. Your child will get a few wears of it, and you know what? For me, that's perfectly fine. For a little bit of an effort. Now, generally, when you tear on like a sudden like a motion. Okay. So what we've got now is we've just got the top layer of the skirt, and that's actually, now this is lined as well, so it's actually ideal, and we'll leave the lining in, and it's going to create a beautiful dress. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut into it, and actually before I cut into it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a seaming so that the lining and the top are stitched together before I cut into it. The other thing I can do is I can actually take it to the overlocker and just overlock this, but no, I think and that would combine the two pieces together. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to the sewing machine. I'm going to cut a stitch around it and then cut into this. Now from this we're going to create one, the bodice, and two, the sleeves. So for the bodice there is a hemmed area which we're going to unpick to do the hem from. Now in total the length that we require for innaya is 28 inches. I'm going to use that part to actually, so this is going to come quite lengthy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take I'm going to take quite a bit off from the top because the skirt part is quite lengthy, although I do want it quite lengthy for her. So before I cut into this as well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-press it so that it's all nicely flattened out. And then what we've got is we've got the rest of this left. Now no, leggings, I'm going to make a little bit of black sort of leggings for this. Right, okay, we've got part of this which has got the design on top as well. But I don't think we're going to get the design in. Okay, so we're going to take a small pause here, a little bit of a break, come back to part 2 of the video where I will do a very quick demonstration of how then you can change this around into a full dress.